Yo.
Happy Friday.
What's up, everybody? Happy Friday. Welcome back to Operation Hustle, the
Yes.
number one podcast in the world.
Okay, that was exaggerated.
That's strong.
Dude, if you say it, it will happen. That's what they told me.
He's already manifesting.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
Hey, if we don't say it, then we never will be.
We'll never be number one. Yeah,
Boom,
exactly. I
boom,
hear
boom.
that.
We're here with
Okay.
Derek F., one of our clients, Alejandro's clients, actually, but F's Fitness client. And he is a true baller. We're going to give you a
Shot
lot of
caller.
details on him today. We're going to interview his butt, and he's going to have a lot of fun. And maybe you will too.
Okay, so we're opening up with a quote like we normally do. So the quote today is a positive thinking quote, right? Appreciate the hard times appreciate the hard times because without them you wouldn't be this beautiful human you are today. Ooh, what do we think about that? It's a gem.
Well,
I
using
know.
that transition for me and Beautiful Human is a bit of a stretch, but I'm going to roll with it. So
Everybody's
it.
beautiful in their own way, sir.
That's
No,
right.
you got some pretty dreamy eyes.
Oh, wow.
thanks for
Whoa.
noticing.
I'm so
Wait till
sorry.
they see that
I'm
boomerang.
so sorry that you have to sit next to that guy.
Yeah, check out the latest boomerang on Instagram, episode 21 of Ali going like this, and squeezing water into his
And
mouth.
feel free to shop it and send it back to us so we can go ahead and post
Create
that
a meme
as
out of
well.
Alejandro's face.
If you know what I'm talking about.
Only if you NFT it. Give us the NFT.
That would be dope.
Oh yeah.
Imagine.
Well, anyways, I'm pretty sure Derek had something to say about that quote, so we cut him off.
No, it was just it's a neat topic about the hard times, right? Because one
Yeah.
of the things we talked about before coming online, and we talk about it in the gym all the time, was
Yeah.
what the last 2.5 years have been like, and
Yeah.
that's during
For
the
sure.
time that I met you guys, and how you deal with hard times. We've all been going through hard times.
Yeah.
Everyone. Well, I mean, there are probably 15 people who have done really, really well financially, but other than them, everyone's been just kind of getting their ass kicked.
You know
Yeah.
who you are. You know who you
But
are.
but yeah, I mean, and you got a couple choices. Get through them or fall down.
So
Yeah,
how
give
did
up.
you
Yeah,
get through the
exactly.
hard times? What have you implemented into just your routine, your life that have kind of helped you deal with this new mental health stressor?
Well, I started like everyone did. I drank a lot. No, but once I got through the drinking and the self abuse, I decided that if I couldn't go anywhere, right, I really should probably focus on things that would help me make it through there. And
Yeah.
so, while I'm clearly a model of fitness like the rest of the people on this panel, I was less a model of fitness even then. And so I said, well, I got to figure something out to not die.
Yeah.
I'd like to not die.
I love
There
it.
was my my big audacious goal was
I love
don't die fast.
That's our new motto at Abs Fitness. Don't die.
So I did some research and found you guys and went over and actually met Alejandro. I was like, all right, well, if I can commit to, twice a week getting in here and getting off my fat ass and
Yeah.
working out, then I can make that a habit. Then that's a good step. It's
For
not,
sure.
it's not the only step. It's not all the steps, but it is a step. And so that was one of the big things that I did do. And,
Yeah.
and I've stuck with that.
Yeah.
You miss a day here and there, but make it up on a Saturday. You guys are super flexible about
For
that.
sure.
And so getting that as part of my life and then getting my youngest son who's starting to play football in there. I mean, he's a little
Yeah.
young to be getting in the gym, probably
Big
at
Drew,
9.
baby. Big Drew.
Big Drew
Shout
getting
out.
in there.
Little
But,
man Drew. He's
But
a
getting in
baller.
there and getting to know you guys and working out, and then I went from that to getting one of the rowers at home
Yeah,
and starting to
yeah.
augment a little bit at home.
I love it.
So that was the physical side. The mental side, and that's what we were sort of chatting about, Abby, was journaling. I had done it
Yep.
before, but I had fallen out of practice because you lose sight of those sorts of things. You stop, the diligence falls apart.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so I got back into it. And I told Alejandro I use an app called Journey. No
Throw the
affiliate,
plug. Throw the
no
plug.
affiliate
Throw the
link,
plug.
and it's not my software, but it's a good little journaling app. And trying to find time to purge stuff, whether it's good,
Yeah.
bad, or indifferent.
Love
I knew an author once, and she always said, "Ink it when you think it." And so it's
I
the
love
same
it.
kind of concept. Just get it down there. You can go back and edit it and clean it, whatever. But getting it down.
I really
That's
love
amazing.
that you talked about this because I, ironically enough, saw this on Amazon. It's so easy to just click by now. I bought this
Oh,
journal that says "Let shit go," And it's actually just supposed to be a journal to like kind of like write about things that are going on, maybe hard times you're going through. And it's supposed to be like, all right, when you write it out, you let that shit go and then you move forward, you know, because there's just everyday stressors, right? And then, like you said, and then there's just always that little thing in the back of your mind of like, oh my gosh, are we going to all go through what just happened again? Are we all going to be locked down? Are we all going to have, you know, to stay at home? Are we all going to have, you know what I mean, financial shifts? And so, you know, that becomes a stressor now. And we're not really sure when we're going to be reassured enough to not have to worry about that ever again. Right.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I got this journal and I think that's a really, really good piece of advice. You know, I might even check out that journey app myself, but I used to journal a lot when I was younger and I don't know why we all like kind of follow that habit. Right. I just feel like the typical like young teenage girl
Time.
with a diary. Right.
Well, we also used to remember. Well, I'm older than probably everyone in this freaking room, but I used to remember writing things with pens and paper, and I remembered people's phone numbers.
Yeah.
I might know 5 phone numbers by memory right now.
Yeah,
I
that's
would,
the
if I
crazy-
got lost somewhere and my phone was dead, I'd just die. I couldn't contact anyone.
The
Right?
smartphones have dumbed us
They
down.
really have,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
under the guise of efficiency. Well, I don't have to waste time remembering that because I
Yeah.
got a thing that
Yeah.
remembers it until that thing is dead. And you're like, oh shit! Now what do I do?"
Imagine you're on the middle of a road trip and your GPS goes out. What will you do?
You
Dun,
know,
dun, dun.
Yeah, there's a fun diatribe about GPS. One of the software products that we make is indoor location
Yeah.
tracking, so wayfinding. It's really hard inside buildings, by the way.
Yeah.
Super easy outside
Oh,
because
yeah.
you have tons of satellites.
Yeah.
Indoors really hard. And when you're testing that, people get really pissy if the little blue dot isn't like right where you are.
Yeah.
Not realizing how damn hard that is.
Oh, for sure.
But then you start looking in your car.
Yeah.
And how often it's wrong when you start up in the morning and you start going and
Yeah.
you're like, shit, this thing's wrong too.
Yeah.
So, but it's technology is something else. I love it, but it has become
We're reliant.
it's a carrot and a stick, as it were.
For sure.
So
Yeah. It's definitely dumbed us down. I've been watching Jim Quick lately. I don't know if you've heard of him before.
No.
He has a podcast, a YouTube channel, but he's all about like growing your brain. And he talks about that, like the smartphone taking over our ability to remember phone numbers, remember names, remember all this other stuff. And they are like doing tests on dementia, and they're finding that people with dementia, they're having a harder time to find it because of all these apps and shit on their phone. So they're catching it later instead of like someone just forgetting like how to get home. Instead, they're always just going with their GPS. So they're calling it digital dementia.
they're masking it with
pretty,
the technology.
Pretty
Wow.
interesting. Yeah.
Interesting.
So
Yeah,
yeah, it will
I've-
take over your damn life.
I've even started this new practice, and Alejandro and I were talking about this recently, and you know we have some really good talks, but just like about how like the phone has kind of like taken away our attention span.
Yep.
And almost like because, and it's interesting enough, I did a little bit of more research, and they're calling it ADHD 2.0, where like some people, and unfortunately Alejandro and I are that variant, are more inclined to get this ADHD 2.0, and it's with the phone. So it's that the phone almost causes us to have a less of an attention span. So like I told Alejandro, he said, oh, I'm finding myself doing the same thing. I'm like having to scroll while watching TV. Otherwise I'm not satisfied. Like
Yeah.
I'm just, oh, I feel bored. I can't just go like this and watch a TV show anymore. And first it started off with not being able to watch movies and only being able to watch TV shows because of the short time span of the episode. And then it became, I have to be scrolling. And then it's like, well, if I look at Justin and he's scrolling and I'm not, now I have to be scrolling too. It's just
The FOMO of
it's
missing out on the
insane.
scrolling.
So I started doing this. And I told Alejandro, you know, maybe you start doing this too, because he said, like, I'm almost realizing like it's a dopamine hit, and it is.
It is.
I
Yeah.
did some research. It is. It's a dopamine hit that we get when we scroll.
It's a drug.
So it's a drug. So
Humans
I've
love
been
drugs.
leaving the drug on the kitchen table when I get home, and then not touching it till the morning. And
Yeah, she's been doing really good. I will tell you, that's discipline
yeah.
because that shit, I can't do it.
Yeah.
And so what I've also decided is, I told Justin last night, when I do get home, if I want to touch it, the rule of thumb is I have to make 2 little tiny ads on Canva for the
Yeah.
business that I'm going to post either that night or the next day before I let the phone go. And then I go in the bedroom, I turn the Alexa and the Google on their alarms for work. I'll look at my schedule once before I head to the bedroom. But it's actually been helping. I feel a little bit less associated with the phone, and that
Yeah.
disassociation has actually helped me almost enjoy my life a little bit better.
You know, I do want to add to this really quickly because I know we brought that up and we talked about that about a month ago, it feels like.
Yeah.
And since then, my thoughts and my process of dealing with that has actually advanced to a new level. Where, yeah, I
I'm
realized.
ready. I'm ready. What do we got, Lizard Brain?
So
What
this
do we
is
got?
kind of
What do we
fucked
got?
up and backwards how this works in my head, but it works for me.
Questions.
So
Okay.
I'll catch myself. I'll be focusing on one piece of electronic equipment like video games, Netflix, whatever it may be. So I'm watching, I'm chilling, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, well, it paused for 1 second. Now I gotta scroll. Oh, it's back. Okay, I'm good. And then I'm like, it's like as soon as it's
Yeah.
not holding my attention 100%, I'm like scroll. And once I notice that I'm doing that, I'm like, shit, I'm searching for more dopamine. I'm searching for something that's more fulfilling
Yeah.
than this.
For sure.
And so I put both of them down. I turned both of them off. I'm like, and then I'm like, oh, let's go to the ultimate drug, life. I'm like,
For
this
sure.
is the ultimate stimulation. I'm gonna go find something in the real world.
Yeah, go outside,
that.
And it
take a
works.
fucking walk. Like,
Yeah.
do
I like that.
something other than I just sold my damn Xbox, and I encourage all you to do the same thing. But I encourage you to download our app on your little phone so you could use us in your gym near you. You know what I'm saying? I ain't telling you to get rid of the phone.
I used to lecture about how they're just tools, right?
Yeah.
Social media apps, just tools. Phones, just tools. You can't be mad at the hammer. It's a hammer. You
Exactly.
can use it to hammer nail in, or I can hit Alejandro on the head. One
Yeah.
is a good thing, one's probably not.
For sure.
Frowned upon in most society. But the tools were developed to do that. And that's the
Yeah.
problem. And I can't remember the gentleman's name. One of the founders at Instagram actually has now started a foundation for ethical computing, because the algorithms they use, like your likes, you think when you post on Instagram and then someone likes it, you're going to get an immediate like.
Yeah.
That's not how it works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
likes are doled out like drugs.
Yeah.
Right. To get your attention.
For sure.
And so
It'll get you back on
and
the
I'm
app.
not trying to paint them as, nefarious mustachio twirling bastards or anything, but the reality is it's not as clear cut as you would think.
Yeah.
So to your point about, I go back to life, and I happen to agree, this quest for mindfulness, right? Trying to find those things and to slow down a bit
Yeah.
and to enjoy multi-stimulation, right? So the phone is only going to give you visual, maybe auditory,
Yeah.
right? You're not getting olfactory, you're not getting
Yeah.
tactile, you're not
Yeah.
getting all those other things. So being able to take a second and not do that can be
Yeah.
super powerful. And we're starting to see a lot of people going to that, doing mindfulness training,
Yep.
going out to the Himalayas for a week, going
For sure.
So
You just really opened my mind up to a whole new perspective. Like, oh, okay, I guess I could take this whole leaving the phone thing in the kitchen to a whole new, level. Maybe we should start taking night walks. Like we recently we went and saw the Christmas lights, and we
Bring your
drove-
pepper spray.
yeah, we have
And you'll
electric
go.
bikes, and so we drove our electric bikes. So our neighbor's cool enough; they had put those arcs, that you can walk through the lights.
Another electronic.
Right.
So we have to ride an electronic if we're
And
not
we rode
on
our
an
electric bikes like through this tunnel, and I was like, "Ooh, lights! Oh my god, I'm outside life!" Like it was like I don't
Yeah.
know. I just felt like I was living to the slave to this sometimes, and
Yeah.
I don't think we realized it until we started thinking about like, oh, there's such a thing called mindfulness training.
Yeah. This is why I'm
Wow.
concerned about the metaverse.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
the metaverse. I love that they changed their name and didn't check trademarks. I
Of
mean,
course.
one of the most valuable companies in the world is that stupid.
They
That's
just do.
fantastic.
They just do,
Yeah.
And they'll just pay for it. But
Yeah, there's some crazy shit coming out. I mean, I seen a video of this guy had this weird suit on. He's got his goggles on, and he's like, everything I see and touch in the metaverse, I can now feel in real life, which
Oh,
is
that's weird.
very creepy.
And scary, to be honest.
But it's kind of cool too.
listen, I am an old school sci-fi geek, and I remember that in Star Trek they had the holodeck. I don't know
Yeah.
if any of you watch Star Trek.
I know
you
what
know
it
what the holodeck is.
Yeah.
If we ever built a holodeck, just rest assured it's the end of civilization, because
Yeah.
none of us come out of a holodeck that we can control the world in.
Yeah.
Right? If you allow
Yeah.
us all to create our own mini matrix where we get to be the hero of our own show,
Yeah.
we really go back to life.
Yeah.
That's not
Well,
a thing.
And that's actually
For
what I
sure.
was thinking about when I said to Justin with the metaverse is I was like, all right, so let's think about the cool things. All right, cool. Like my parents have died. Cool. Maybe I can go create a hologram of them in this metaverse. But am I ever going to want to leave if I go back to real life and now I'm no longer with my parents? Or let's say somebody who can't see, who's blind, who now can see in the metaverse. Are they ever going to want to come back to real life? No. I mean, it's just crazy. Or are you controlling your husband or wife in a manner that you wish they acted in the metaverse? And then you
Hell
go back-
yes, you are.
Yeah, but then
Why
you-
the hell would you go there and let
Of
them
course
control it?
you
That's
are.
bullshit.
But then
This
you
is
go back
my
to
world.
you go back to real life and you're like, I wish you wouldn't say that. Like,
It's definitely
in
weird.
the metaverse, you don't act that way.
The scarier part to me is the more we leverage AI.
Yeah.
And I'm not one of those guys that has, again, AI is just this big black box of evil.
Yeah.
But if you have an AI model, an algorithm that then gets tossed a ton of data and can develop its own algorithms, cool, that's really neat. Except for all of the data it gets is unweighted.
Yeah.
And every time we've tried to do it, Microsoft tried to do when they created an AI in social
Yeah.
media, it became a racist asshole in like 4 weeks. It
Of
was
course it did.
terrible, right? So because guess what? Humans are just kind of bad a lot of the time.
Yeah,
And they're even
exactly.
worse when they're allowed to be anonymous and behind a keyboard, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
I was
keyboard
telling Alejandro the
warriors.
other day, I
That's the
can't, I might have been Tyson, it may not have been Tyson, but he's like, people forgot what it's like to give someone's opinion and not risk getting punched in the face.
Dude,
Right.
I have this
It
guy like
used to
calling
be.
me out right now on my fucking video. It's got 300,000 views, by the way. Check it out.
Nice.
Anyway,
Oh,
he
it's up
like,
to 300,000.
hits me up and he literally direct messaged me. this is a piece of shit.
You didn't tell me this.
This just happened like yesterday. And I was like, what the fuck is up with this guy? And it's just craziness. But if he was like in front of my face, maybe he would say it, but I doubt it.
Dude, you wouldn't even imagine what people say to me. So like,
Oh, I know you would.
Oh,
Yes, I would.
I've gotten, okay, let me give you the best one. So this is off our most recent ad. Somebody commented, I remember, and it's, mind you, it's mainly the video is like me talking. I remember when I had a 13-year-old body. I was like, what? I was like, okay, I guess that I'm a
But if they're
13-year-old.
not
That's really
hating-
creepy.
The hate I equate to like, all right, we're winning. If there's haters, we're winning. If they're not hating, like we're not doing something right.
A lot
Unfortunately.
of people think to raise themselves they have to push someone else down.
Yeah.
And that's really perverse thought. And it's funny the way you articulate the way I do too. You know, people wouldn't say that if they were in front of you, and it's not because they'd be afraid of consequence. You know, my punch in the face thing. It's because people, when they are connected as a human, they remember they're humans.
Yeah.
Right. When you're behind a keyboard, you lose all of that.
For
It's
sure.
like you can just pop things off. You say things like X and Y are inexcusable.
Yeah.
Realize how hard a word is. Like inexcusable is a really big deal. But you
Yeah.
see it on Twitter all the time. This is inexcusable. You mean a mistake is inexcusable? Welcome to be a human, asshole. What exactly do you do?
Yeah, for
You
sure.
know? So it's just
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd like to see scalable humanity. I think that
Yeah.
as a technologist, like I get into scaling everything. How can we make things seem more human? Like,
Yeah.
it's the act of, you know, virtual VIP service. This is all really cool stuff
Yeah.
if used for good. It's like, you
For
know,
sure.
if you use your powers for good, it can be awesome.
Yeah.
But there's also this desire to remember what it's like to be connected to humans, and that is really amazing.
Yeah.
And I don't think you can scale it the same way. So
For sure.
if I were a sayer of sooth, a fortune teller, I would say that we'll see a little bit of a refraction or a return to that model where people try and find those sort of micro experiences. I think bookstores,
100%.
like
Yeah.
again, getting the other senses back
Yeah.
in, because we had them taken away from us
Yeah.
for 2 years.
Yeah.
2 years
In
we
our-
got to not be human.
In
and that
our
sucks.
business too, like we do run online and in person, and it is way different on both ends. And I run both. So I have online clients and I have in-person clients.
Yeah.
And I love all my online clients. They do well, they do great. But it's way different when they're in the building and I get to actually interact with them. It's
Absolutely.
100% different, and it is a completely different product.
Yeah.
And everything else is ran online, and it's like there's not enough connection.
Yeah. If it's in
So-
addition to and not in
Yeah.
replacement for, then I think you'd be super powerful.
I think a
Yeah.
great
Yeah.
way to segment off of this is that we're talking about this, you know, in human personal experience, and you know that you think people are going to get back to that. So from well, no, not aliens. That's a whole nother episode. I think Derek should be back on for. But so anyways, you come to our gym. What do you think about the personal in-person experience that we have at our gym? Do you think there's a vibe? What do you think that makes us special? Why did you choose us? You know, what is your experience like with Ollie? Maybe dive into all that for them.
Sure. I actually got a hold of Ollie by accident. I was looking for someone to come to my house. all kidding aside, I totally did.
No,
this whole
I
thing
think that's
up.
awesome.
So
That's awesome.
I went
That's
to
dope.
an online form and filled out some stuff about what I was interested in. I had 3
Yeah.
or 4 people contact me. I assumed he was one of the people that would come to your house. And so when I was scheduling the
I
follow-up,
was like, nah, you coming to me,
he was
bro.
like, no, come down to the gym. And so I was like, oh, so I go to the gym for this. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
shit. Now I got to tell this guy no. But I enjoyed the conversation. I liked what was going on. Now at the time, it was still early in the pandemic, and I was apprehensive about going someplace with a lot of people.
Yeah.
I have my wife is going through cancer treatment, so there's higher risk there, and I have kids at home. But I was like, you know what? If I do it at home, there's advantages because I can roll my ass out of bed and do
Yeah.
it. But I kind of need there to be a tax. I need there to be
Yeah.
a give-get.
For sure.
And it wasn't like it's that far away. The gym was super clean. You guys were doing a great job of keeping things limited
Yeah.
at that time. You guys have scaled up and scaled back in an intelligent way, which was fantastic. And you were all very open. So I was like, okay, so I'm going to give this a shot.
Yeah.
From that point forward, everyone was super friendly.
Yeah.
You never felt imposed upon. You didn't feel out of sorts. There are
Yeah.
people of all ages, sizes, capabilities.
Yeah.
And everyone sort of has a good time.
Yeah.
And so I
100%.
genuinely look very forward to it. I look forward to enough that I bring my son. I bring my 9-year-old.
Dude,
right? So
little homie, I'm
if-
telling you.
if there's ever a testament to whether someone likes something, if they bring their kids there,
Yeah.
chances are they don't hate it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I've really enjoyed it. I think you guys do a great job with it. It's fun to watch you guys continue to grow
Yeah.
and see all of the people, because you're going to see people come and go, man. I mean,
For sure.
Yeah.
100%.
I was telling Alejandro the other day, I was like, I know a lot about business. I could never run your business because I don't
Yeah.
understand how to keep people engaged. And
Yeah.
you guys have such a hard time with that stickiness,
Yeah.
Yeah.
keeping people engaged.
Yeah.
And so seeing the people that stick is awesome.
For sure. It's a constant cycle of trying to get new people in and retaining our current clients. And it is a process, and there is something different about it that's different than other businesses.
Yeah.
It's definitely difficult to do, but like we have a really great team that helps us function like that. And the energy we create in that building, I think also helps retain clients and gives them a sense of safety and a safe gym to work out in instead
Absolutely.
of a judgment gym.
Yeah.
Which
And I
is
think
most
that
gyms.
Jess and I are very particular in who we bring into our little inner circle. We never actually, I don't know if you know this, just because we don't always get to talk with you, Alejandro's your trainer, but Alejandro started out with us in the trenches. He was the first real deal employee
We
that
were
we
in a
started
room
dishing
like
clients
this
to.
big.
Employee
training.
one.
Well, we had another couple,
We
but
had
they were
another
like,
couple, but
they were independent contractors, like they paid us per hour, and then we realized,
Yep.
you know what, we have enough, we can dish now. Like we finally felt to a point where we could take somebody on, and it was by accident. We hired him on from the barber they shared. So anyways,
This
Julio.
guy's got lucky on
he
accident.
has. But the
dude, I
funny,
love it.
so the funny thing is, like I said, we're very particular about who we hire. And there's an energy that we're looking for. And you know what? I will say that that's not for everybody.
Yeah.
And then we understand that we might have to go through different employees and restructure, and that we're still learning the game. But Justin and I actually never wanted a team. We was just him and I in a tiny 900
Yeah, we
square
didn't
foot
know where
studio.
it was gonna go.
Yeah.
We kind of just started it and went with it, and it kept growing and growing. And then the fucking Corona came, and then like she was more scared, I guess, than I was at the time. Like I got scared because our building was too fucking small and there was too many people in it, and she
Right.
got scared like we can't move buildings during the Corona. I was like, we need to, or else we will crumble. Because if we would have stayed in that 900 square foot with Ollie, her, and I. And I believe we brought on, or no,
No, we
had
just
four
had the three
fucking
of
trainers
us,
at
yeah.
that time.
We did.
Yeah, Evans was still there.
Evans, yeah.
Okay. Yep.
And dude, I was in a corner with a 300-pound man
Oh,
in
yeah.
a small section of the tiny gym that we already had. And I was like, this has got to go.
Yeah.
So we decided to make that leap. We made the jump, and here we are today. We have 4 other trainers.
But if you don't have high energy, this job is not for you. It's definitely
Yeah.
about, you can't have small talk. You don't have high energy. You really don't know how to keep a conversation going. Then this job is not for you. And that's very evident because that's how you keep the retention. So I can say the one thing about keeping people engaged, it's all about being able to really dial into them and make them feel like this is the highlight of their day. And we're not perfect. We're humans. We're going to have bad days. But for the most part, leaving that at the door and being able to have that switch. So it is a human skill that you have to have, that not everybody possesses. I really look to see if you can turn that off. Let's say your girlfriend just broke up with you. You need to be able to leave it at the door. And when you walk in, nobody needs to be able to know about it, which is hard because Justin and I are married and people are like, how the hell do you guys work together,
And there's
sleep
plenty of
together,
times where
everything?
we have like a fight right before our shift. And like I come in and like not one client knows that I was just in a fight with my wife. They're like, oh, why are you always happy? And I was like, well, you pay me to be happy and I'm going to make your ass happy.
Right.
And currently, I
So-
can't fight with her. So this is like a timeout.
Right,
pretty much,
exactly.
yeah.
No, you guys have done a great job of that. I have a tendency to listen to multiple streams of communication. It's
Yeah.
just one of the things that I do.
Yeah.
For sure.
And so I hear all of you matching pace.
Yep.
And you got some folks that need motivation in one way and some that need another. And I remember back, I covered the Buccaneers for a long time. And Coach Morris, when he was the DB coach, when Rondé and Brian Kelly played for us, he used to talk about it all the time. They were complete opposites.
Yeah.
Rondé didn't want any rah-rah. Rondé wanted only what he did wrong. He's like, I assume I do almost everything right because I'm really good at what I do.
For sure.
Your job is to tell me what I did wrong. Whereas BK always wanted to be reminded how good he was.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with either of those.
Yeah.
People need, what they need.
Everybody's different.
And
for
you guys
sure.
do that. And I noticed across the age spectrum, the gender spectrum, it doesn't matter. You guys all
Yeah.
seem to find that and people seem to have a good time. So,
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I train all my clients differently. I'm sure they all say I kind of do like I act the same towards some of them, but I definitely mirror their energy.
Well, before we end this
Accordingly.
entire podcast talking about social media and how much the phone can be a hassle here, let's talk about what Derek does. And because it's a pretty big job
23
that he
minutes
has.
in, we're gonna
right?
finally interview.
But
him.
Derek is
all
actually the
good.
CEO of what he explained to me to be a software company for a cruise line. So why don't you go into a little more depth about that, and then kind of like what you have to possess to be in your job title.
Sure. My company's named DeCurtis Corporation. We were founded out of Orlando. We've been around since '98, but became a product company about 6 years ago. We did custom software before that, but then we moved into true products. And we service primarily the cruise industry and hospitality in experience software. And so the idea is to make experiences more friction-free, whether that be, like we said, virtual VIP. Everyone wants to be a Norm from Cheers, if you remember that show. Like they want to be remembered. They want to be that VIP.
Right.
And usually you had to pay a hell of a lot of money to get that.
Heck
we
yeah.
can use technology to make that easier for the crew on a cruise
Love it.
ship or whatever to know who you are, if it's your anniversary, what your favorite drink is, all these sorts of
Yeah,
things.
that's excellent.
And then the training, it's funny because you give a line or a resort that ability, the brand still comes through because how they convey that is up to them. They don't want to be creepy. They don't want the person to think that you're in their head, but at the same time, people like to be remembered. They like to
Heck yeah.
they like to have that. And some people are like, I really just don't want to talk to you. I just like the drinks faster, please.
Yeah.
Cool, got it. You get the drinks faster.
Yeah.
And for the companies that we serve, that can mean more revenue, which is
Yeah.
great. And you can create experiences as well.
100%.
So it's a wonderful industry. I have to admit, I know a lot of people don't like the cruise industry for various reasons. I've been fascinated by it. I've got a chance to really kind of go deep with it. I'm very excited that things are coming back. Our clients are starting to cruise again, and our technology is being used.
Yeah.
So for us, it's been 2 years of trying to keep our folks employed and safe.
100%.
We have a large development center in India, which I've been to multiple times. These people are family.
That's awesome, man.
And it's been rough. We've had it rough here in the U.S., but I think sometimes until you travel abroad, you don't realize how great we have it here.
Oh my God, dude. If you're poor here, you have it better than 90% of the world.
Yeah, we just went over.
We're talking piss poor.
Yeah, it was like literally, I
We went
feel
over
like you
this
said that.
yesterday.
Yeah.
I went over a simple statistic. If you make $30,000 in the U.S., you're in the top 1% of the world everywhere.
Yeah.
We ballers over here. We just think that we like to feel bad for ourselves sometimes.
Well, it's
Overnight.
tough if you're not exposed to it. Like the first time I went to India was well before coronavirus. Everything was fine. The world was going great, right? And I went over there to see the folks, and here I am staying in this 5-star hotel in Jaipur, which is where our office is. But between my hotel and the best hospital in that region, there's a massive field with blue tarp tents where people live. Now, what was different, and this isn't what you're interviewing me for, so I apologize for going too far afield, but walking around, because I walk everywhere, because I'm the guy that is not afraid of that for some reason. No reason. I'm not a badass. I just do it and figure I'll be okay.
Yeah.
If I walked through there, every family in those tents would have offered me half of what they had.
Which is amazing.
Wow.
And-
Kind of
and
reminds you of biblical terms.
I still have not gotten over that, right?
Yeah.
And I can't remember the Hindi words for it, but essentially in India, they believe the guest is God. If you have a guest, they are to be treated as a God.
Yep.
Not because you're going to revere them, but because you just, and so it didn't matter. If they had a piece of chapati, half was yours.
Do you want to hear something crazy? It's really funny you say this because I've had a influx of Indian clients, and one of my clients right now, I believe she is Hindu, but I just find it so funny that she's so respectful of me that I try to like put the attachment on for a glute kickback, and she's like, no, I don't want you to touch my feet. In my country, that means that you are inferior to me, and I don't feel that way about you. And this is Sarisha, and I always just thought it was such a fascinating, respectful thing that I've ever heard anybody say to me.
See, she doesn't say that to me when she kicks me.
All right, well that's a
That's
different,
different, bro. That's
a
different.
different story. Like
She used
she
to beat
really,
up on a man. That's perfect.
this is like a skill, right, that you're supposed to do, but this is something she believes I shouldn't have to do for her.
Right.
And so she almost takes it out of my hand every time, and it makes me feel good that she really respects me that much. And it's like, whoa, like no American ever fucking does that. Okay, let's be honest.
No, and now all that said, there are some things that arranged marriages are still a thing, and I'm not here to drop indictments on India because God knows we got our own screwed up shit too.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's beauty in these cultures, and the more I get
For
to
sure.
travel the world, the more I
Absolutely.
realize the beauty in their cultures, the beauty in ours. We have some
Yeah.
really amazing things. As mad as I am about how just pig-headed stupid we've become recently, there's still so much beauty here. When trauma arrives, like we will rally, and that can be awesome. And how
100%.
we help our neighbors, So
Yeah, I've
anyway.
actually noticed that too, though. Like at first there was like a separation of neighbors, but I do see like more neighbors and like other humans kind of coming together now that we're all in the same shitstorm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It took a little bit, it took a
we
couple of
rallied.
years, but we definitely
So
have
what do
rallied
you
up.
think that you have to really possess to be in your position? Because the CEO position is a really large position. And I mean, I don't think it's everything. Not everybody can do this.
I've only been CEO twice. One company before this, but it was really for a brief period of time. This
Don't
has been a
downplay
learning
yourself.
experience.
That's awesome.
But this is a learning experience, right?
Right.
And for years, I used to say, because I worked at Microsoft about 7 years, and I used to say I learned more at Microsoft than I ever learned anywhere else. And it's true. I learned a shit ton working for that company.
For sure.
The stuff I've learned in the last 5 years running this company, especially in the last 2 years, is just amazing.
Leaps and bounds. Yeah.
I've learned an immense amount of humility. I've learned, I grew up here. This is mostly, I assume, Floridians that are listening to this, but I don't know, internet doesn't do that. I grew up in Polk County, so I can make fun of it.
Let's
So
go.
I grew up in Auburndale. I always knew I had to outwork everybody.
Yeah.
I knew I was smart.
Yeah.
But you can only be the smartest person in a room by luck, right?
sure.
Or by choosing really shitty rooms.
Yeah,
But I can
100%.
always work harder. And so you start realizing that when you demand that, you go to Microsoft where that's rewarded. Work harder, work harder, work harder.
Yeah.
Type A, type A, type A. And then you realize, shit, what about your kids? What about your family? What
Yeah.
about the rest of life? And so balancing that when you're trying to keep a company alive and trying to let people know, like we had almost 50 deaths in our company,
Wow.
right? I mean, that's why when I actually talked to, I think everyone but Abby, because I don't get to see you usually have another client. I'm usually over where these guys are. You know, there were people that are saying, oh, this is bullshit. This is bullshit. It's nothing but the food. I'm like, dog, I'm at 50 deaths of
Yeah.
people that I know.
Yeah, people that you
Right.
care about. Yeah.
So I appreciate you have an opinion, but go fuck yourself because
Yeah.
that's not what's happening.
Yeah.
And so it became very emotional. And so we had to really circle the wagons and go,
Yeah.
all right, what do you have to do? We went remote way early
Yeah.
and we've never come back. Now the office is open. We maintained all of our cleaning staff.
For sure.
That cleaning staff wears our logos to weddings. They're so proud to work for a company.
I love it.
When you
Yeah.
see that, like I used to say, listen, if
a family.
everyone in our company loved the company as much as the people that clean the office, we'd be the greatest company in the world.
Yeah.
Because these cats
100%.
will on their Facebook at a wedding, like take pictures.
Let's go. You
And
hear
so
this, Allie?
So
It's
it's
that
like-
team camaraderie.
But they know it. That's like we would have a get together and we'd have
It's
cake
like a
or whatever.
family, dude.
And we're like, you guys get in here. So
Yeah.
So that's probably been the thing is realizing I used to be one of those things like I'd say, I don't thank the light when I turn the switch on. Right.
Yeah.
I expect it to turn on because it's a light.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to thank the light.
For
and
sure.
and that was a big learning thing for me was being open to that, trying to be more aware of it, trying to be aware of what people needed, not what I needed from them. Because
Yeah.
I was always like in that coaching mentality of I can make you better at what you do. Because
For sure.
that was the gift that I had. I could make you a better technologist. I can make you a better communicator. Sometimes you just need someone to not try and make you do more.
Yeah.
And it's been an incredible learning experience.
I love it.
I'm just glad we're coming out the back end of it, right?
Yeah,
'Cause
dude.
I
I don't
think
know how much
what-
longer we could have all
Right.
done it.
But what I think I really loved about what you just said was exactly what we just said. The cleaning people, wearing the shirts is the team camaraderie. And that I
Yeah.
think what we
It's a
can all
community.
learn from all of this is that if you gather together as a team, you are stronger than one. And it's really interesting that we had this podcast that people are, we are the people that are here today, right? This particular group. Justin and I were watching this new show called Welcome to Earth. And this is what I'm going to kind of end with.
Plug on Disney
By
Plus.
Will Smith and National Geographic. And the episode last night was they took these drones. He went with the photographer and the where were they? Were they Serengeti? And
I
they
don't
watched
remember
the wildebeest
Mm.
swarm, right? So it's all about the swarm and how you are stronger as a swarm than you
Swarm.
are. Swarm,
Swarm.
Swarm.
whatever.
It's different than
swarm.
shawarma.
Swarm, swarm. Okay.
Yeah,
you're-
these dumb animals,
you
right?
are
They're like,
different.
these are not the smartest animals on the planet, but they swarm together and they overcome these
They're a
crocodiles on
team.
these rivers.
they overcome the biggest obstacles
Yeah, it's
as a
pretty crazy.
team. And that's what I can say that makes us really successful as far as your company as well, is that we work as a team. And we are very blessed to have the team that we do. So thank
Yeah.
you, Ollie.
We
Shout
love
out
our
to the
team.
rest of our team, that are
and
with
all our
us today.
clients, our
And
community.
all of our clients, because without you, Justin and I wouldn't be eating food on our table today. And I think
Yeah,
that's what I really want to
100%.
wrap up with, because we are really, truly blessed to know the people that we know, including you, Derek, and Alejandro, and the rest of our team and clients. So
Yeah.
thank you all. We're grateful for every single one of you.
Things change a lot when you own the business and then you have to fill other people's paychecks and help them create a living for themselves. Before, it was all focused on like, oh, what are we doing? Now
Right.
it's like, okay, how do we make our whole team successful and have them all grow happily?
Correct.
And we all eat
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
savages.
Well, I know Abby likes quotes based on how you opened it. There's a guy I work with who says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together.
I
Love it.
I second
Absolutely
I don't
love it.
remember who it's attributed to, but it's a good quote.
It's attributed to all of you. Let's go, baby.
Yes. So thank you,
Yeah, we
every
want to thank
single
you
one
guys.
of you.
Yo, Derek, throw out your website real quick
Oh,
before we go.
www.decurtis.com.
Yeah,
Love
if you
it.
don't cruise, you lose, baby. That's what
Right.
I'm
So if
talking
you're
about.
looking to cruise, look into that technology, look into his website. Love it.
You want
um,
VIP status? Go to that
You
website.
want to feel like a superstar, you want to feel like family,
Yeah.
go to that website. But to
Also,
wrap,
go to our website.
right.
too.
So I'm just gonna say, to wrap up, we say it every week. Visit our website. We do online training. So if you're
Yep.
not in the area, we can train you anywhere.
And the website is revamped. It looks a lot cooler.
Right,
It's
so
a lot
that's
nicer. A little more functional.
www.absfitnesstrainer.com. You can find us on Instagram at absfitness_brand in Florida. And Justin, give them the
YouTube. What is the YouTube? Oh
Wow.
my goodness! It's
Abs
up
Fitness,
here.
Abs Fitness Film House.
There it is.
There
Abs
you
Fitness
go.
Film House.
Abs Fitness
TikTok.
LLC on Facebook, and TikTok is
Abs Fitness Tampa, Florida. or Tampa.
All right, guys,
One of
that's
those.
it. That's
I don't
a
know.
wrap.
There's too many damn social networks. But
That's
follow
right.
them all. See you
See
next
ya.
week. Goodbye.
Well, we all could have probably talked for